Good morning and welcome to chapel today. If you have a chalice, I invite you to light it with me. And we'll sing our entry song. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. This is indeed a day that God has made. Let us then rejoice in it and be glad, and let us count our many blessings. Let us be grateful for the capacity to feel and understand, and let us be grateful for the incredible gift of life. Let us be especially grateful for the ties of love that bind us together, giving dignity, meaning, worth, and joy to all of our days. Please join me in our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. There are many different beliefs about death, about what happens after we die. About where our spirits go. Where do you think they go? What do you think happens? That's what's important. Uncle Monarch and the Day of the Dead by Judy Goldman, illustrated by Rene King Moreno. "They're here!" Lupita cried. She ran to the rocking chair where her uncle was dozing and touched his arm. When he opened his eyes, she whispered, "Tio Urbano, they're here." "Are you sure?" he asked. Quickly, Nina, hand me my cane. It is the best of luck to see them arrive." Tio Urbano struggled to his feet. His knees creaked like the wooden floor under him. He put his hand on Lupita's shoulder. They walked out of the house and watched as the first monarch butterflies fluttered to the safety of the trees. Lupita put out her hand, and a tired monarch landed on it. It stayed for a moment before flying off to blend with the others. Tio Urbano said, "Pequeño, do you remember what I have told you ever since you were a baby?" Lupita nodded and said, "I must never capture or hurt a monarch, for they are the souls of our dead ones who have come back to visit us before Dia de Muertos." Tio Urbano put his arm around Lupita. "Never be afraid of the dead," he said, "for those who loved us can never hurt us. We will always miss them, and this is why it is a blessing to receive the butterflies before Dia de Muertos, when we show our dead that they are treasured and not forgotten. Besides, it is a pleasure to see the butterflies return every year." Day after day, Lupita and Tio Urbano watched the butterflies fill the trees until there were millions in the woods. On sunny days, they flew about searching for food and water until the forest was a quivering blur of orange and black. On cloudy days, the butterflies didn't take wing. Instead, they clung to the tree trunks and pressed together tightly for warmth. Soon after the arrival of the butterflies, Lupita's family got ready for Dia de Muertos. Papa set up an arch of campastulas flowers. He strung rows of colorful papel picado from one end of the living room to the other. Later, he set up the altar and displayed the photographs of family members that had died. Mama gathered the ingredients she would need for preparing the pan de muerto, mole, tamales, tortillas, atole, and rice and beans that the dead had liked in life and would now enjoy in spirit. Lupita cleared a path that led from the altar to the street. She knew exactly how she would make the trail of petals of the marigolds that would guide the spirits home. This year it would be as wide and as thick as possible so that no one would get lost. Everything was done like last year, except that Tio Urbano couldn't help in any way. He sat wrapped in blankets and dozed most of the day by the fireplace, mumbling in his sleep. When he was awake, and if his bones were not aching, he watched the butterflies. A few days before Dia de los Muertos, Tio Urbano took to his bed. Lupita sat by his side for hours. She stroked his hand and spoke to him about school and her friends, but he never opened his eyes. One morning, Lupita was dreaming of butterflies when she felt a hand on her shoulder. She opened her eyes, and when she saw the tears tracing a path down her father's cheeks, she knew. "Tio Urbano?" she asked in a whisper. Papa nodded. "I know how much you will miss him, Pequeña," he said, "but try to remember the good times you spent with him. He would like that." After that, the days were cold and dark for Lupita. Tio Urbano's photo was added to the ones on the altar, and a plate of his favorite enchiladas was added to the other dishes. Lupita missed seeing him in the old rocking chair. A gray feeling filled her heart, and she felt better only when on sunny days the monarchs flew around the meadow. On the first day of November, Dia de Muertos arrived. That night, Lupita's family and neighbors gathered in the cemetery. They lit torches and candles, and each family cleaned their relatives' gravestones. They painted the gravestones in bright colors and covered them with flowers and food. Some prayers were said, and a woman sang a hymn accompanied by a guitar. After a while, an air of festivity spread throughout the cemetery as adults told stories and ate their fill and children played hide and seek among the gravestones. Lupita looked at the new grave that needed no fresh paint. She stayed close to her mother and later on wrapped herself in a warm blanket and fell asleep. Early the next morning, Mama woke Lupita and whispered, "Come, Pequeña, it's time to go home." Lupita shook off the blanket. She pulled her jacket closer and glanced at the cloudy sky. There wasn't a butterfly in sight. While Mama and Papa walked ahead among the graves, Lupita turned for one last look at her uncle's gravestone. On one of the flowers was a lone monarch butterfly, gently moving its wings. Lupita watched it as it rose, fluttering above her head and flew away. She stared until she lost sight of it among the trees. Then she smiled and whispered, "Goodbye, Tio Urbano, my Uncle Monarch. I'm sure I'll see you next year." Lupita left the cemetery, and as she ran to catch up with her family, felt the gray begin to lift from her heart. And so ends our story. Our theme this month is death. That's a pretty heavy theme. But what it allows us to do is to concentrate more fully on life. Knowing that there is an end to something makes us value and hold precious what we have all the more. So our prayer today is this. As we remember the ones we have held dear,
Let us be confident and trusting that life is full of meaning and purpose, even in death. Let us remember that life is a sacred thing. Its beginning is sacred. Its span of years is sacred. And its ending is sacred too. Every culture, every people, from as far back as there has been culture, as there have been people, have wondered about this, have created stories to explain. The truth is, it's a mystery. A mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Join me in our song one more time. Mystery. Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. It's our theme for this month, life and death. We don't know. It's all a mystery. As we blow out our chalice this week, may the light of love and connection continue until we meet again. Go and be blessed and be a blessing.
Go.